Hello future MDs! Here's part 1 of Physics Rationale of NMAT Practice Set 2014. Nandito yung numbers 1 to 25. Before we proceed, I'd like to ask favor. Please subscribe to this channel if this has somehow helped you. Also, share nyo na rin to sa friends nyo na nagre-review rin ng NMAT. Tsaka pala pag may nakita kayong corrections, feel free to comment below and then ilalagay ko na lang sa pinned comment yung corrections. Yun lang, thank you and let's start! Number 1, a man finds that he can walk 1 kilometer in 20 minutes, 3 kilometer in 1 hour, 6 kilometer in 2 hours, and 9 kilometer in 3 hours. This indicates that the distance he travels is, as you can observe, habang nag-i-increase yung distance na nata-travel ng man, nag-i-increase din yung time. And then also, makikita natin sa proportion nila na yung 1 kilometer, kapag tinimes mo siya sa 3, magiging 3 kilometers. Ganon din dito sa time. Yung 20 minutes, when you multiply it to 3, magiging 60 minutes or 1 hour. And then dito naman, yung 3 kilometers, naging 6 kilometers, wherein tinimes mo siya sa 2. And then kapag minultiply mo yung 1 hour to 2, magiging 2 hours. So, ibig sabihin nun, yung correct answer dito is directly proportional to the time. So, kailan naman natin masasabi na inversely proportional to the time? Kapag yung distance, yung trend niya is increasing, tapos yung time nag-decrease, so doon natin masasabi na inversely proportional yung distance sa time kapag baliktad sila ng trend. Number 2, what are the factors that determine the speed of a satellite which moves in a stable orbit around a planet? G represents universal gravitational constant. So, kung i-visualize natin, may satellite daw na nagre-revolve sa planet. So, kunyari yan yung nasa gitna is yung planet and then kunyari itong square yung satellite. So, sabi, if the satellite moves in a circular motion, then the net centripetal force acting upon this orbiting satellite is given by the relationship. So, ito yon yung centripetal force, F net, is equal to yung mass ng satellite times velocity squared all over yung radius. So, yung radius is yung distance between the planet and the satellite. Yan. This net centripetal force is the result of the gravitational force. So, ito daw, itong formula na to, came from the gravitational force formula that attracts the satellite towards the central body and can be represented as, yan, yung gravitational force is equal to the gravitational constant times yung mass ng satellite and times yung mass ng central planet all over yung radius squared. Yung tanong is yung factors na nagde-determine ng speed ng satellite. Kapag sinubstitute natin tong F net dito sa gravitational force, ganiting magiging itsura niya. M satellite times V squared all over R is equal to gravitational constant times mass nung satellite times mass nung central planet all over R squared. And then, yung goal natin is makuha yung speed or yung V squared. So, V squared is equal to, makakancel na yung R dito. And ito, makakancel yung isang R. And then, yung mass ng satellite is makakancel na rin since nandun siya both sides. So, ang matitira na lang sa atin is yung gravitational constant times yung mass ng central planet or yung nasa gitna, all over R, or yung radius. So, yung sagot natin dito is yung gravitational constant, yung mass ng planet, yung nasa gitna, and then yung radius, which is letter D. Orbital radius of the satellite, mass of the planet, and G. So, ito pala yung Newton's law of universal gravitation formula. Yung value ng gravitational constant is 6.67 times 10 raised to negative 11 Newton meter squared all over kilogram squared. Yan. So, it's important na maalala nyo tong formula na to kasi madalas siyang ginagamit. Number 3, The device shown above is so itong device na to is a transformer, letter C. So yung galvanometer, ito yung itsura niya. It's the instrument for detecting electric current. Ayan, nakikita yan madalas sa mga laboratory sa school or kung technician ka, ayan, madalas kang gumagamit ng ganito. Okay, so generator naman, device that converts mechanical energy to electrical energy. So generator, mechanical to electrical. And then kapag rectifier naman, it's an electrical device that converts alternating current. Yan, it reverses direction to direct current which flows in only one direction. So kapag rectifier, from AC, ginagawa niyang DC yung current para mag-flow lang in one direction. So ganito yung itsura niya. Pwede siyang i-arrange as circuit. So basta meron kang AC source, may diode, and then meron kang resistor. Pwede kang gumawa ng sarili mong rectifier. Yan. So, iba-ibang klase yung rectifier. Merong half-wave rectifier, may bridge rectifier, and so on. Yan. So, yung transformer naman, which is yung answer natin, it is a device that transfers electric energy from one alternating current, so AC circuit, to one or more other circuits, either increasing or stepping up or reducing or stepping down the voltage. So, yung purpose nito is to step up or step down the voltage. So, for example dito, meron kang power station. So, nagpo-produce dyan ng power or ng electricity. So, gumagamit dyan ng step-up power transformer para mas palakihin pa yung voltage. And then, syempre, dadaan sa transmission line. And then, from the transmission line, gagamit naman tayo ng step-down power transformer to lower the voltage. Sa consumer kasi, syempre, mas maliit naman yung power na kailangan. Ayan. So, ginagamitan natin yan ng step-down power transformer. So, kung ito makikita nyo sa mga poste, ganyan yung transformer. And then, sa loob niyan, ganito yung itsura. Kapag maraming turns, mas malaki yung voltage doon and mas maliit yung current. Tapos, this one kasi is a step-down transformer. Is-step down niya yan using few turns and then magkakaroon ng low voltage and high current. So, yung transformer, it's a static electrical device that transfers energy by coupling between winding circuits. Number 4, a ping pong ball and a golf ball are dropped in a vacuum chamber from the same height and at the same time. So, same height, same time. When they have fallen halfway, they have the same. So, sabi dito, nasa vacuum chamber daw yung ping pong ball and golf ball. So, meaning, kapag vacuum, wala kang air resistance. For example kasi, di ba, naghulog ka ng feather compared to a golf ball sa isang building. So, yung feather, yung pag-fall niya is, syempre, di naman siya agad na madadrop ng dire-diretsong pa-vertical. Due to air resistance, lulutang-lutang pa siya sa air. Pero, kapag sinabing vacuum, walang air resistance na involved. So, bale, same lang yung gravitational acceleration na nag-a-apply dun sa ping pong ball and golf ball. So, for example, yung kapartner ng golf ball is feather. Ibig sabihin, kapag nasa vacuum sila, same lang yung acceleration ng pagbagsak nila kahit mas magaan yung feather kasi walang air resistance. So, yung answer natin is acceleration. And also, the integral of acceleration over time is change in velocity. So, kung same sila ng acceleration, ibig sabihin, same din sila ng velocity habang nagpo-fall sila halfway. So, yung correct answer dito is either letter C or D. Both are correct answers. Number 5, a 10-pound object is suspended by a string from an overhead support. A horizontal force of 5.8 pounds is applied on the object. The measure of the angle which the string makes with the horizontal is blank. So, meron ka daw object na nakahang. Yung weight niya is 10 pound. And then, yung applied force niya sa horizontal is 5.8 pounds. Yan. So, kung nag-apply ka ng force horizontally, mag-move yung object horizontally. So, ayan. Yung itsura niya is magiging ganito na. And then, i-drawing lang natin yung free body diagram. Yung 5.8 pound na force and yung 10 pound na weight. Yan. Ano daw yung angle with respect to the horizontal? So, ito yung hinahanap na angle. So, drawing lang natin. So, ito yung angle. And then, ilagay ko lang dito yung 10 pound para ma-visualize natin. So, kung meron na tayong angle dito, so, maa-apply na natin yung SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. So, since ito is opposite, so yung opposite ng angle is 10 pound over adjacent, yung 5.8. So, ito yung opposite and then ito yung adjacent. So, ang gagamitin natin is tangent. Yan. So, tangent theta is equal to 10 pound over 5.8 pound. Yan. So, kapag kinalculate nyo yan, magiging sagot is 1.72. Ayan, 1.72. So, tan theta is equal to 1.72. So, ano daw yung angle? So, yung angle is equal to tangent inverse nung 1.72. So, hindi natin agad makukuha yung sagot dito sa, ayan, tan inverse 1.72. Since wala tayong calculator, kailangan natin gumamit ng special right triangle. Yung special right triangle, yan, meron tayong 30, 60, 90 right triangle and 45 right triangle. 45, 45, 90 right triangle. Yung gagamitin natin is yung 30, 60 right triangle. Yung units ng opposite side ng 30 degrees is 1. So, meron siyang 1 unit. And then, yung opposite side naman ng 60 degrees, merong square root of 3 units. And then, yung sa hypotenuse, meron siyang 2 units. So, from this right triangle, makikita natin na tangent 60 degrees is equal to yung opposite, which is yung 3 units. Square root of 3 pala. Square root of 3 over yung adjacent, which is yung 1 unit. Yan. So, yung square root of 3, almost equal yan to 1.73. So, importante rin siguro na malaman nyo yung equivalent ng square root of 3, which is 1.73. And, ibig sabihin nun, 60 degrees is equal to tangent inverse of 1.73. So, yung answer natin dito, since 1.72 to, halos same rin siya sa 1.73, almost equal siya sa 1.73. So, yung answer natin dito is, theta is equal to 60 degrees. So, ito yung final answer natin, which is letter C. Number 6, a force of 60 newtons is used to raise a 240 newton load using a system of pulleys. The load covered a distance of 1 meter for every 5 meter of rope pulled through the system. The system has an efficiency of blank. Yan. So, yung efficiency ng machine, equal yan sa actual mechanical advantage over ideal mechanical advantage. So, AMA over IMA. Yan, yung actual mechanical advantage, it takes into account the amount of input force that is used to overcome friction. So, dito, ito yung output and tinitake account din niya yung friction. Meanwhile, yung sa ideal mechanical advantage naman, it reflects the increase or decrease in force there would be without friction. So, dito, hindi niya tinitake account yung friction. So, yung efficiency ng machine, never siyang magiging 100% due to friction. Lagi siyang less than 100%. In other words din pala, yung efficiency ng machine is equal to the output work over the input work. So, ito na lang yung gagamitin natin muna dito sa problem na to. So, i-list down muna natin kung ano yung mga input na force and distance. Yan. So, yung input force, sabi, a force of 60 Newton is used. So, yun na yung input. 60 Newton na force and the load covered a distance of 1 meter for every 5 meter rope. So, kada 5 meter rope daw na pinul, yung pulley, nakapag-travel ng 1 meter yung load. So, ibig sabihin, 5 meter yung input. And then, yung sa output naman, 240 newtons yung na-raise na load. So, yun yung output. And then, yung distance naman na na-cover ng load for every 5 meter is 1 meter. So, yun yung output. So, yung work output is equal to 240 times 1. And so, yung work pala, yung formula niya is work is equal to force times distance. And yung unit niya is joules. Ayan. So, 240 joules to. And then, yung input work is equal to 60 newtons times 5 meters. Equal yan sa 300 joules. So, yung efficiency ng machine natin is equal to work output is 240 over 300 joules. So, cancel yung 0 and then yung common factor is 6. So, 24 divided by 6 is 4. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So, 4/5 times 20 over 20 is equal to 80 over 100. So, yung efficiency niya is 80%. Yung correct answer dito is letter D. Number 7, block C and D weighing 4,000 newtons and 2,000 newtons respectively rest on a horizontal beam AB as shown above. So ito, if the reaction produced at B is twice as great as the reaction produced at A, how far from A will the weight of block C act? So yung hinahanap mo dito is tong X meters. Yan, kung saan mag-a-act yung weight ng block C dun sa horizontal beam. Yan, so first, let's draw the free body diagram nitong beam na to. So, yung block C daw weighs 4,000 newtons or 4 kilonewtons. And yung block D weighs 2,000 kilonewtons. And then, yung reaction at B is twice as great daw sa reaction at A. So, yung force dito, force reaction at B is equal to 2 times ng force reaction at A. And then, meron kang force dito sa A. So, yung purpose niyan, yung reaction forces dyan is to hold the beam statically para hindi gumalaw yung beam. Yan yung nagsusupport dito sa 4 kilonewton and 2 kilonewton weight. So, ang uunahin muna natin is yung pagkuha ng force at the reactions A and B. Hanapin muna natin yung value nila. So, alam natin na yung force sa A plus force sa B is equal to 6,000 Newton. 6,000 Newton kasi 4 kilonewton plus 2 kilonewton is 6,000 Newton. Yun yung hinohold nilang weight. Yan. So, dapat yung opposite force is equal din sa 6,000 Newton. And then, meron pa tayong equation na force reaction at B is equal to 2 times ng force reaction at A. So, isa-substitute na natin tong value na to dito sa equation. So, force reaction at A plus 2 times force reaction at A is equal to 6,000 newtons. So, 3F sub A is equal to 6,000. So, yung force reaction at A is equal to 2,000 newtons. So, yan yung value. And then, alam natin na yung force reaction at B is twice nitong 2,000, bale 4,000 newtons. So, ganun lang yon. So, nakuha na natin yung value. Ito 2,000 newtons. This one is 4,000 newtons. And then, ang next naman natin kukunin is yung equation ng moment dito sa horizontal beam. Before that, alamin muna natin kung ano yung moment. Kapag sinabing moment, yun yung turning effect. Ayan, turning effect of a force. Okay, so for example, meron kang beam. Kinuha ko lang dito sa internet. Meron kang beam and then nag-apply ka ng force. So, itong force na to, F. And then, meron kang point of rotation, which is this one. So, since nag-apply ka ng force, magkakaroon ka ng moment or torque na magpapaikot dito sa horizontal beam. Yan. And then, para makuha natin yung moment, yung formula niya is yung applied force times the distance. Yung distance nung point of rotation to the force. So, yun yung moment. So, yan yung gagamitin natin to solve for the moment equation later. So, balik tayo dito. Burahin ko lang. Okay. So, kunin na natin yung moment of the equation para makuha natin yung x na hinahanap natin. Yung gawin nating point of rotation dito is yung location A. So, ito. Itong nilagyan ko ng dot. Moment at A. And then, yung positive turn gawin natin na clockwise. Yan yung positive reference point natin. So, yung una natin kukunin is this lever arm. And then, yung 4,000 kilonewton na force na pababa. So, 4,000 times x plus kasi pa clockwise yung turn. So, next naman is yung sa point D. Ito naman sa point D. So, x plus 1 meter, yung distance. So, 2,000 times x plus 1. And then, lastly, yung kukunin natin is itong reaction force sa B. Negative yan kasi counterclockwise yung turn niya, kasi pataas. So, negative 4,000 times 5. Kasi yung distance from the point of rotation is 5. Equal to 0. Kasi hindi naman siya mag-rotate, diba? Itong horizontal beam, static lang siya. So, equal siya sa 0 na moment. And then, let's solve the equation. So, meron kang 4,000x plus 2,000x plus 2,000 minus 20,000 equals 0. And then, pag-plus natin to, so 6,000x is equal to, ilipat natin tong 20,000 and 2,000 sa right side. So, 20,000 minus 2,000 is 18,000. So, x is equal to 18,000 over 6,000. Cancel. So, 18 divided by 6 is equal to 3. So, yung x is 3 meters. Yan yung final answer natin. Letter B. Number 8, a body thrown vertically up into the air possesses kinetic energy at the beginning of its flight, but as it rises, it loses kinetic energy and acquires potential energy with respect to the level from which it started. Which of the following is not likely to happen? Ayun, so yung question na to is nagkwento siya, yung body daw na binato mo vertically into the air, meron daw yung kinetic energy at the beginning, pero as it rises, nababawasan yung kinetic energy niya, and then yung potential energy niya is tumataas. Ayan. So, ano daw yung hindi mangyayari? So, recall lang natin, yung potential energy, yung formula niya is mass times gravity times height. So, yun yung reason kung bakit yung potential energy is maximum at the highest point of flight. Kasi, syempre, habang tumataas, diba, habang umaakyat yung body or habang nagta-travel siya pataas, tumataas din yung elevation or yung height. So, tumataas din yung potential energy. And nababawasan yung kinetic energy. Yan. Potential energy changes to kinetic energy when object is falling. So, kapag naman pababa na yung object, so, kunyari yung body or yung ball, pababa na, yung potential energy naman is bumababa and nako-convert yun into kinetic energy. So, pag pababa, yung kinetic energy naman yung tumataas, nag-i-increase. Yan, yung formula ng kinetic energy is 1/2 mv squared. Yan. So, yung kinetic energy naman, maximum siya at lowest point of the flight. So, yung correct answer dito is letter D. The kinetic energy is minimum at the lowest point of its flight. Yan. Kasi sabi, not likely to happen. Dapat kasi yung kinetic energy is maximum. So, mali na minimum yung nakalagay dito. It should be maximum at the lowest point of its flight. So, itong A to C, yan yung pinag-usapan natin kanina. These are true. Number 9, Bernoulli's principle states that A1 or area 1 times velocity 1 is equal to area 2 times velocity 2. Blood flows from artery A1 whose cross-sectional area is 50 microns squared at a velocity of 5 mm per second to its more peripheral branches A2, A3, A4, and A5. If the total cross-sectional area of the branches is 250 microns squared, and each branch has exactly the same diameter as the other, what is the velocity of the blood in the branches? So, binigay na sa atin yung formula, which is yung area 1 times velocity 1 equal to area 2 times velocity 2. And then sabi, yung cross-sectional area nung artery 1 is 50 microns squared. I-multiply natin yan sa, yung velocity is 5 millimeter per second. Equal yan sa, itong area 2, ito yung lahat, yung cross-sectional area ng lahat ng branches, A2, A3, A4, and A5. So, pag inad daw yung lahat, yung area is 250 microns squared times yung velocity or yung V2, yun yung hinahanap. Ayun, so, kunin natin yung velocity. So, yung velocity equal yan sa 50 times 5 over 250. Ayan. So, this one, 50 times 5 is 250 over 250 is equal to 1 millimeter per second. So, ito yung final answer natin. 1 millimeter per second. Letter B. Number 10, based on the graph shown above, the acceleration of the moving body is blank. So, as we can see here, as time increases, so dito, as time increases, the distance also increases. So, at 2 seconds, nasa 10 meters na yung na-travel. At 4 seconds, 20 meters na yung na-travel. Bale, nag-i-increase proportionally yung distance with respect to time. So, kapag ganun, yung velocity is constant. Kasi 'di ba yung formula for velocity is distance over time. Ayan, constantly increasing yung velocity, meaning acceleration is 0. Kasi yung definition ng acceleration, yun yung rate of change of the velocity of a moving body. So, since constant yung velocity, ibig sabihin, walang rate of change ng velocity. So, acceleration is 0. So, yung correct answer natin is D. Yan, velocity is constant, thus, acceleration is equal to 0. Number 11, how much heat is required to warm 10 grams of ice from negative 10 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius? Yan, specific heat of ice is 0.5 calories per gram Celsius. Yan, so, dito, gagamitin natin yung formula for heat. So, yung formula for heat is Q is equal to mc delta T. Or yung mass times yung specific heat times yung change in temperature. So, yung mass dito is 10 grams. And then yung specific heat is 0.5 calories per gram degrees Celsius. Times yung change in temperature, meaning pag sinabing delta T, equal yan sa final temperature minus yung initial temperature. So, yung final temperature dito is 0 degrees Celsius minus yung initial temperature is negative 10 degrees Celsius. So, yan. Solve na natin. 10 times 5 over 10 times 0 minus negative 10 is equal to 10. Positive 10. So, makakancel yung 10. And we're left with 5 times 10 is 50. So, 50 calories. Yan yung heat na mapoproduce, which is letter B. Number 12, body X is in contact with body Y, which is hotter than body X. Which of the following statements are true? So, sabi daw, yung temperature sa body Y is greater than yung temperature sa body X. Yan, mas mainit yung body Y compared to body X. Yan, so, ano daw yung totoo dito? So, yung number 1, body X gains heat and body Y loses heat. So, first, ano nga ba yung tinatawag na heat? Pag sinabing heat, yun yung flow of energy from high temperature to low temperature. So, dito sa number 1, body X gains heat. Totoo yun kasi lower yung temperature niya. So, pag nagdikit sila, makakagain siya ng temperature from the body Y. And then, yung body Y naman will lose heat kasi mataas yung temperature niya. Ibig sabihin, yung goal kasi dito is yung thermal equilibrium. Kapag sinabing thermal equilibrium, nangyayari yun when temperatures balance out and heat stops flowing. So, yun yung goal. Kaya, correct yung number 1. And then, number 2, the temperature of body X decreases and the temperature of body Y increases. So, kapag nangyari itong number 2, hindi na magkakaroon ng thermal equilibrium. So, mali to. And also, dinedefine niya yung sinasabing heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. And then, yung number 3 naman, tama rin siya kasi yan, the temperatures of body X and body Y will eventually be equal. Ayan, yung pinaka-goal kasi is to achieve thermal equilibrium, wherein magiging equal yung body X, yung temperature ng body X with the temperature of body Y. Yan. And another information, meron tayong tinatawag na zeroth law of thermodynamics. It states that if two bodies are each in thermal equilibrium with some third body, then they are also in equilibrium with each other. Yan, burahin ko lang para mas clear. Yan. So, for example, dito sa diagram, yung sinasabi ng zeroth law, kapag yung body A and body C are in thermal equilibrium, and then yung A, in thermal equilibrium din siya sa body B, ibig sabihin nun, yung body B and body C are also in thermal equilibrium. Ulitin ko lang, yung thermal equilibrium, it happens when temperatures balance out and heat stops flowing. Ibig sabihin, equal na sila ng temperature. Number 13, how many calories of heat is given off when 200 grams of water is cooled from 100 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius? So, yung formula natin ng heat is equal to Q equals mc delta T. MCAT, or mass times specific heat times change in temperature. So, given na tayo ng mass, which is 200 grams, and then yung specific heat ng water, kahit wala siya sa given, dapat alam natin na yung specific heat is 1 calorie per gram times degree Celsius. Yan. So, dapat i-memorize nyo to, 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius. Times yung change in temperature, bale yung final temperature, which is 20 degrees Celsius, minus yung initial temperature na 100 degrees Celsius. So, equal to sa 200 times negative 80, equal yan sa 16,000, negative 16,000 calories. Yan. So, yung answer natin is letter C. So, bakit tayo nagkaroon ng negative sign? Ang ibig sabihin ng negative sign, nagkaroon ng release ng energy. Or yun yung heat is given off na sinasabi dito. Pero kapag heat is absorbed, positive yung lalabas dyan. Pero since nag-cool down ka ng water, nag-give off ka ng heat. So, negative yung sign. Number 14, a 1,200 watt heater is used for raising the temperature of 1 liter of water to boiling point. How long will it take for the water to boil if the initial temperature of water is 20 degrees Celsius? So, yung pinapahanap sa atin dito is the time it takes for the water to boil. Yan. So, ilista muna natin yung given. Yung power is 1,200 watts. Yung volume is 1 liter. And then, kapag sinabing boiling point ng water, or yung final temperature, equal yun sa 100 degrees Celsius. And then, yung initial temperature daw is also given 20 degrees Celsius. So, first, kailangan natin i-calculate yung amount of heat energy needed to raise the temperature of the water. So, yung formula for heat is Q is equal to M, or yung mass, times the specific heat times delta T, or yung change in temperature. Ayan, wala tayong given na mass, pero may given tayo na volume na 1 liter. So, first, we're going to get the mass. So, yung formula ng density, diba, is equal to, density is equal to mass over volume. So, yung mass is equal to density times volume. And then, yung density ng water, kailangan kabisado rin natin is 1,000 kilogram per meter cube. And then, para ang goal kasi natin, kunin natin yung mass ng water in terms of grams. Kasi, gagamitin natin yun later. Yan, so dapat makancel tong m cube or meter cube. Yan, 1 meter cube equal yun sa 1,000 liters. So dapat medyo familiar kayo sa pag-convert. So makakancel na natin to. And then, given naman tayo ng volume na 1 liter, 'di ba? So ito yung volume. I-multiply natin siya dyan para makancel yung liters. So we're left with kilograms. So 1,000 over 1,000 is 1 kilogram. Equal din yan to 1,000 grams. Kasi pag sinabing kilo, 10 raised to 3. So 1 times 10 raised to 3 is 1,000 grams. Okay, so meron na tayong mass. Pwede na natin siya i-substitute dito sa formula. So 1,000 grams times yung specific heat ng water. Alam natin na 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius yun. Times, yung change in temperature is 100 minus 20 degrees Celsius. Ayan, so makakancel yung gram and Celsius. Yung matitira sa atin, Q is equal to 1,000 times 80, which is 80,000 calories. And then, binigyan tayo ng conversion dito. Yung isang calorie daw is 4.19 joules. So, i-convert natin. Ilagay natin yung calorie sa baba para makancel siya. 1 calorie. Tapos, ilagay natin yung 4.19 joules sa numerator para makancel yung calories. So, we're left with, ayan, compute nyo lang yan. So, equal yan sa 335,200 joules. Or, pwede rin sabihin na 335.2 kilojoules. So, meron na tayong Q. So, once na nakuha na natin yung heat na yan, equal din yan sa yung work. Diba, yung unit din ng work is joules. So, it can be used as work. Okay, so power is equal to work over time. Yan yung formula niya. So, kinukuha natin dito is yung time. So, time is equal to work over power. Yung work, yan, isubstitute lang natin 335,200 joules over 1,200 watts. So, kayo na lang mag-try mag-calculate. Yung makukuha nyo dito is 279.33 seconds. So, ito na yung final answer natin, which is letter C, 279 seconds. Ni-round off lang. Number 15, if the absolute temperature of a gas is quadrupled and its pressure is halved, then the volume will blank. So, dito, gagamitin natin yung ideal gas equation na PV is equal to nRT. So, pressure times volume is equal to number of moles times yung gas constant times the temperature. And then, ayan, yung goal natin dito is makuha yung new volume. So, sabi sa atin dito, yung temperature daw, so yung bagong temperature will be quadrupled. So, 4 times the original temperature. And then, yung bagong pressure daw is half or kalahati ng original pressure. So, isa-substitute natin to dito sa equation. So, volume is equal to nRT over P. And then, substitute N times R times 4T all over yung pressure na bago P over 2. Okay, so yung magiging result is, syempre yung 2 dito malilipat sa numerator. So, 2 times 4 is 8. 8 nRT over P. So, nagkaroon ka ng 8 na coefficient. Ibig sabihin nun, yung answer natin is letter B. The new volume will increase 8 times. Number 16, a glass flask which is partly filled with water is heated over a Bunsen flame. As soon as the water begins to boil, the flask is removed from the flame and tightly stoppered immediately. So, tinakpan mo daw yung boiling water. Boiling stops. When cold water is poured on the surface of the flask, which of the following will happen to the water inside the flask? So, after mo alisin yung flame, tinakpan mo yung flask and then nag-stop yung boiling niya. And then after nun, nagbuhos ka ng cold water sa surface ng flask. So, ano daw yung mangyayari? So, pwede nyo to i-try as experiment. Yan, yung answer dito is letter B. It will begin to boil again since the condensation of the steam reduces the pressure inside. Yan. So, first, ano ba yung vapor pressure and ano yung relation nun sa boiling? Yung vapor pressure, yun yung pressure exerted by a vapor in equilibrium with its liquid state. So, yung liquid molecules at the surface escape into the gas phase. So, pag nag-boil ka ng water, syempre mag-e-evaporate yung water and magiging gas na siya. These gas particles create pressure above the liquid in a closed container. So as you can see here, and syempre nasa closed container siya, so mag-move tong particles. Yan, it will create pressure above the liquid. Yan, as you can see in this picture. So yung concept dito sa experiment na to, if the vapor pressure of the water is higher than the partial pressure of water vapor over the liquid, then the liquid will evaporate until it comes into equilibrium. So, magbo-boil muna yung water and mag-e-evaporate yung water until it comes into equilibrium. And then, after that, if the vapor pressure is higher than the total pressure of all the gas over the liquid, then the water will boil because the evaporation may spontaneously happen anywhere in the liquid. So, yun yung cause ng boiling. Kapag yung vapor pressure, mas mataas siya dun sa total pressure ng lahat ng gas na nasa ibabaw ng liquid. So, you actually need the vapor pressure to be higher than the pressure in the water at the depth at which the bubbles form in this case. So, yung purpose kung bakit mo siya binuhusan ng cold water para mag-boil ulit is to reduce the pressure inside. So, bale, kailangan mo kasi i-reduce yung total pressure of all the gas over the liquid. Kaya ka magbubuhos ng cold water para mas maging higher yung vapor pressure and mag-boil ulit yung liquid. So, yun yung idea behind that. Number 17, a Carnot refrigerator takes heat from water at 0 degrees Celsius and rejects heat to a room at 27 degrees Celsius. If 50 kg of water at 0 degrees Celsius is converted to ice at 0 degrees Celsius, how much energy must be supplied to the refrigerator? So for this problem, importante na alam natin kung paano nagwo-work yung refrigerator. So you can watch some videos para mas maintindihan nyo. Yung basic is, it will take heat from the cold reservoir. So yung cold reservoir, dun nilalagay yung food or dun ini-store yung material na hindi dapat ma-spoil. So ang ginagawa niya, kinukuha niya yung heat dun and then pinupunta niya sa hot reservoir. Yun, tinatapon niya yung heat dun sa hot reservoir. Pero to be able to do that, kailangan mong meron kang compressor. Yung compressor, siya yung mag-i-input ng work para matapon yung heat to the hot reservoir. Kasi 'di ba yung sa second law of thermodynamics kasi, hindi pwede na mag-flow yung heat from cold to hot reservoir. Ang flow talaga ng heat is from hot to cold reservoir. Yan. So, yung goal natin is makuha tong input energy na kailangan i-supply sa refrigerator. Yan. So, makukuha natin yan using the formula of COP. Yung COP, yun yung coefficient of performance. Pag sinabing coefficient of performance, yung value nun describes the effectiveness of heat pumps, refrigerators, or air conditioners. Bale, kapag mataas yung COP, ibig sabihin maganda yung ref. Yun. So, yung formula for that is equal to yung heat na maa-absorb sa cold reservoir over yung work na i-input mo. Equal din yan sa temperature at the cold reservoir over the temperature sa hot reservoir minus temperature at the cold reservoir. Yan. Kapag heat pump naman yung sinosolve mo, ito gagawin mo lang temperature at hot reservoir. So, ganun siya nagwo-work. So, given tayo ng temperatures sa hot reservoir Yung temperature daw doon is 27 degrees Celsius. Doon tinatapon yung heat or nilalabas yung heat. And then sa cold reservoir naman is 0 degrees Celsius. Sa pag-solve ng COP, importante na absolute temperature yung gagamitin natin. So, dapat i-convert pa to into Kelvin. So, mag-add tayo ng 273. So, this one will become 300 Kelvin. And dito, magiging 273 Kelvin. So, pwede na natin yan i-substitute. So, 273 over 300 minus 273. Compute nyo na lang sa manually without using calculator. So, makukuha nyo is 10.11. And then, since meron na tayong COP, ang hahanapin na lang natin is yung Q para makuha natin yung W. So, meron tayong QA, W sub C is equal to 10.11. Hanapin muna natin yung heat. So, sabi dito, if 50 kilograms of water at 0 degrees Celsius is converted to ice at 0 degrees Celsius, so mapapansin nyo na parehong nasa 0 degrees Celsius yung temperature, walang change of temperature. So, hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yung formula na Q is equal to MCAT or MC delta T kasi wala namang change ng temperature. So, bale yung heat na tinatawag na to kapag ganyan yung given sa inyo, ang tawag dyan is latent heat. Yung latent heat, yun yung heat required to change the phase of a substance without change of temperature. Bale yung water, na-freeze siya sa ice kahit constant yung temperature niya. Ayan, so yung formula for latent heat is Q is equal to mass times latent heat of fusion nung substance. So, ang kinukuha natin dito is yung sa water, so 50 kilogram times yung latent heat of fusion niya is 334 kilojoules per kilogram. So, ito, sinearch ko lang din sa internet kasi hindi siya given. So, equal to sa 16,700 kilojoules. Yan, solve nyo na lang. Okay? Tapos, pwede na natin i-substitute to dito sa formula natin. So, bale magiging work ng compressor is equal to heat absorbed over yung COP. So, equal yan sa 16,700 kilojoules over 10.11. Yung answer is 1,651.8 kilojoules. And then, since pinapahanap sa atin is yung kilowatt hour na unit, kailangan pa natin i-convert. So, i-convert natin siya. 1,651.8 kilojoules sa isang kilowatt hour, merong 3,600 kilojoules. And then, makakancel na yung kilojoules. We're left with kilowatt hour. Yung final answer natin is 0.459 kilowatt hour. So, ito yung final answer. Yung pinakamalapit na sagot is letter A, pero hindi yan yung tamang sagot. I think kung yung mass na given is 50 grams, and then i-convert mo pa siya into kilograms, edi magiging 0.05 kilograms. Ito yung makukuha nating sagot, yung letter A. So, I think meron lang mali sa given na hindi nakita. Pero, ayun. Let me know kung ano yung insight nyo dito. Baka ako pala yung mali. So, comment nyo na lang below. Number 18. The amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 10 grams of water at 10 to 50 degrees Celsius is blank. So, dito, obviously, gagamitin natin yung formula na Q is equal to MC delta T. So, ito yung formula for heat. So, equal yan sa 10 grams, yung mass, times yung specific heat ng water, which is 1 calorie over gram times degree Celsius, times yung change ng temperature, bale, final temperature, which is 50 minus yung initial temperature. So, pwede na natin isolve. So, makakancel yung gram and Celsius. So, 10 times 40, di ba? 10 times 40 is 400 calorie. So, ito na yung final answer natin. Letter B. Number 19, the immediate source of water which forms dew on grass on a summer morning is the blank. Yan, so yung correct answer dito is air. Yan, so paano nga ba na form yung dew? Dew forms as temperatures drop and objects cool down. So dito, as you can see here, sa daytime, yung temperature sa lupa is 18 degrees Celsius, which is higher compared kapag gabi na. So mas malamig yung air and yung surface kapag gabi na. So if the object becomes cool enough, the air around the object will also cool. So yun nga, lalamig yung air kapag gabi na. And then colder air is less able to hold water vapor than warm air. This forces water vapor in the air around cooling objects to condense. So, yung air dito, magko-condense siya, which will form dew. Ayan. So, kapag sinabi palang condensation, yun yung phase change ng substance from gas to liquid. Ayan. When condensation happens, small water droplets form. So, yun na yung tinatawag na dew. Number 20, the table shown above gives the specific heat and the thermal conductivity of some substances. So, meron tayong water, aluminum, copper, and iron. Which substance requires a greater amount of heat to raise the temperature of its unit mass by 1 degree? So, ang correct answer dito is water. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, yung specific heat ng water yung pinakamataas compared dun sa other substances. Yan. So, yung specific heat lang yung titingnan natin in order to know kung ano yung substance na kailangan ng greater amount of heat. Kasi yung definition ng specific heat, yun yung quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of a substance by 1 Celsius degree. Yan. So, kapag mas mataas yung specific heat, mas mataas rin yung amount of heat na kailangan ng substance. Number 21. A metal cube is heated over a Bunsen flame and then dropped into an insulated beaker containing water. The masses of the water, the beaker, and the cube, the initial and final temperatures of the water, and the specific heat capacities of the water and the beaker are known. Without further measurements, which of the following can be calculated? So yung correct answer dito is letter B, the specific heat capacity of the cube. So dito, given na kasi yung mass nung water, nung beaker, and nung cube, given na rin yung initial temperature and final temperature, which is yung sa delta T. And then, yung specific heat ng water and beaker is already known. So bale, pwede kang magkaroon ng equation na mc delta T nung water is equal to the mc delta T nung cube. So, kapag ginamit mo yun, pwede mo nang makuha yung specific heat capacity ng cube. Number 22, in hydroelectric plants, electric energy is generated by letter D, making use of the power of a waterfall. So, ayan, syempre, gagamit tayo ng turbine and generator. When the turbine is placed in the path of falling water, the turbine moves a shaft, which in turn powers an electrical generator. Siyempre, yung pagbagsak ng water, di ba, sa waterfalls, yan, mataas yung energy niya and it can turn the turbine blades, which produces mechanical energy. And then, yung mechanical energy will be converted to electrical energy by this generator. So, yun yung purpose. So, ganun nako-convert yung mechanical to electrical energy. Number 23, a label of an electric stove reads 1,200 watts, 110 volts. How much current will the appliance draw when it is used? So, yung formula for this one is power is equal to current times voltage. So, PIV. Tandaan nyo tong formula na to. Ayan. And manipulating this one will give us current is equal to power over voltage. So, yung given na power is 1,200 watts over yung 110 volts. So, yung answer natin is letter C, 1,200 over 110 amperes. Number 24, the ammeter in the circuit above should read So, yung ammeter, siya yung nagme-measure ng current dun sa device or sa circuit. Meron tayong 20 volts and meron tayong 10 ohms na resistance. Yan. So, yung formula for this one is voltage is equal to current times resistance or VIR. Ayan. So, manipulating this one will give us current is equal to voltage over R or yung resistance. So, 20 volts over 10 ohms. So, yung answer dito is letter B, 2.0 ampere. Number 25, a capacitor acquires 0.002 coulomb when 50 volts is applied. Its capacitance is blank. So, yung formula for capacitance is C is equal to Q over V. Yung Q is yung charge, yung unit niya is yung coulomb, and then yung V is voltage. Yan. So, substitute lang natin yung given. Equal yan sa 0.002 coulomb over yung 50 volts. Yan. So, isimplify lang natin. Bale, itong 0.002, it can also be written as 2 over 1,000 in fraction form. And then, all over 50. Which is also equal to 2 over 50 times 1,000. Then, cancel. Ito magiging 1, ito magiging 25. So, meron kang 1 over 25,000. And then, i-divide mo na. 1 divided by 25,000. Medyo ito lang yung nakakalito dyan. Since hindi mo siya made-divide agad-agad, yan, mag-add ka ng decimal place dito after nung 1. So, 0. And then, 1 divided by 25,000, hindi pwede. So, mag-add ka ulit ng 0. Di pa rin pwede. So, lagyan mo ng 0. Add 0. Di pa rin pwede. Add 0. And then, add 0 ulit. Di pa rin pwede. Lagay ka ulit ng 0. Add 0. Di pa rin pwede. Lagay ka ulit ng 0. And then, until maging 100,000. So, yan. Pwede na. Pwede na siyang ma-divide. So, 100,000 divided by 25,000 is 4. So, ito na yung sagot natin. C is equal to 0.00004. And pwede natin siyang gawing in terms of micro. Kapag sinabing micro, equal yan sa 10 raised to negative 6. Kasi microfarads yung nasa choices. Yan. So, i-move natin yung decimal place to the right ng 6 times. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, yung makukuha nating sagot is equal to 40 microfarads. So, ito yung final answer. So, madadagdagan ng 0 dito. Which is letter C, 40 microfarads.